Hello everyone and welcome. My name is Simon and we are the Whales of Wall Street. Today we are looking at XDC, XLM and XRP in the red day of doom. So before we go into that, please do make sure that you like this video if you find it informative, subscribe to the channel if you've not done so already, and press the notification bell to make sure you get notified of all the awesome videos we come to you with. If that makes sense. It doesn't. Let's move on quickly. So let's go to XTC to begin with. First of all, obviously, as you know by now on the other videos, we had a correction day, hooray! But this correction day, I think, is a mixture of different things, especially rolled around Bitcoin. But what I would say is, out of all the crypto assets, well, not only one of our favourite bags here at Whales of Wall Street, but XDC has done us proud today because it hasn't even really budged that much. It just looks like a normal correction day, doesn't it? So we've completely bounced off this previous fib retracement line that we've had in for a couple of videos now. Bang on pretty much, if you can see what I see. In fact, I don't even think it goes below it at all. It literally touched it and bounced back. So that's a good positive sign. So around 0.1286, still not down to my purple line that I put here. I generally thought with this correction day, though, it might hit back down to that sort of 11-cent mark. So I'm not complaining because I want XDC to absolutely moon. I really thought, we would start a bit of momentum back up towards here into the 20-cent mark, but we do need to anticipate corrections along the way. And also another bit of analysis here that we picked up on previously, around the sort of 8th of August, we've had quite a big run, to be honest, for XDC in such a short space of time, like 20 days. So it was quite apparent that we would get at least a correction down here. I was thinking, around sort of 50%. So if you look at around about sort of 0.7 to arguably 1966, which is where I actually sold at. It was just below that, I think, where I took profits and then bought back in at these three stages, but couldn't quite get the fourth tick off here, which was a bit greedy, I think. But anyway, we've had that kind of correction that we kind of anticipated roughly around the 50-cent mark. Bit of traction upwards, picked down. And we did mention that with XTC that there was always an opportunity that we could potentially come and test these lower regions, and not because we don't believe in the project, but because the historic data is not there for us to say that these are genuine support lines. And in order to do that, you have to test the areas. So it'd be interesting to see what kind of bounce off we get here. Forget today's full correction with XTC. This is solely talking about this in isolation, that if we continue a potential bearish movement down here, so the RSI arguably comes down to say 40 or maybe even down towards 35, this bearish momentum is continuing on the MACD regardless of today's activity. So it's very much in the sense that we could come back and test this area, and I'm not wanting that to happen just because my buy order is down there, but I want it almost to happen because we need to test that support line and bounce off it, hopefully, so we can get that bullish momentum back. However, saying that, if we can correct this day above, as we are right now, above this sort of 0.12 mark, we can actually start saying, actually, maybe this is our new support line here, and we can start getting this confirmed next at 14 cents before we can push that 16 and get some confirmation areas around there too. So I'm not disappointed. I'm just patiently waiting. XDC's Infin is absolutely phenomenal. Hybrid blockchain technology, incredible projects, partnerships, and what it's capable of doing is insane. So I'm anticipating some really good returns this year on XDC, let alone really trying to accumulate as much as possible for the next sort of 4 or 5 years where we're in the next run, and beyond that as well, because this is going to be absolutely phenomenal. It's extremely undervalued. There's a handful of projects out there you sort of sit there and go, really, why? Of course there's things like market cap, supply, demand, but as a project, what it's capable of doing, it's undervalued massively. So let's keep an eye on this. It's a bit different to the video that I was anticipating to do this week, because I thought we were doing a general flow of the chart, with continuous potential corrections, but also a bit more of an upside. But of course, we've had the strange day today, for one reason or another. We won't go into massive theory detail, we've already done that in a couple of videos already. So let's see where we go with XDC. But like I said, just to round this up, we could see a potential test back down to this area here, and arguably potentially down here, just because we haven't had that much attention around these areas. Or we might just continue to bounce around here for a bit before upside. And the reason around here is because we've actually had, to be fair, in the last month or so, some tests on this area. If we can do that, we're pushing forward. Absolutely fantastic. So that's really good on that area. XLM, so stellar lumens, wow. This is one for ages that's been sort of floating around as well, to be honest, with people complaining on our WhatsApp groups and Telegrams and stuff, like, what's going on with Stellar, what's going on with XLM? And it's like, well, just be patient. Stellar lumens is going to be absolutely phenomenal in the financial institutions around the world. And today, people always like, oh, I wish I bought more at this price or this price, and then the price comes and then everyone's getting annoyed about it. It's like, well, you can't have it all your way. So for me, I wasn't at an event today, and I got all these notifications, not just from people, but all the exchanges that I use, that so-and-so assets down by X%, and I'm like, brilliant, okay, great. And then finally the event finishes, I can't get on the exchange because they're all pretty much flopped and too many people on them, and I was just like looking at XLM going like further down here. I was like, oh wow, this is like mega. And I don't really trade XLM. I did put some key aspects of areas for us to push into, and this is quite critical to be able to come on to that point in a second, but I was sort of sitting there going like, wow, okay, so in my mind, when we had this correction down here at sort of 20 cents, to come back down to 27 is pretty phenomenal. And it's literally one of those very fortunate and lucky opportunities. Okay, I don't see it as a bad thing. I see it as an opportunity to gain one of the most influential projects in crypto assets. So it's completely rejected back up to here. It's recorrected itself. Not quite fully as I anticipated yet, but the day is not over. And the market of Asia is not over yet either, and certainly for the next few days. It doesn't mean that it's going to be all done in one day. I anticipate 2 or 3 days of real proper correction and stability. So if we can climb back above this previous trend line that we drew in a couple of videos ago, we can start seeing again some movement upwards again next into the next areas. We had this area up here where we said that we would have some potential resistance, and we hit that, which is quite interesting, around here on literally yesterday. And of course today is just unanticipated, unfortunately, and it's something that we'll never know whether we would have carried on upwards up to that sort of 44 cent mark and beyond. So it's a real shame that we couldn't. But that is part of the space that we're in. We anticipate corrections, take profits along the way, have buying strategies along the way down as well, just in case, accumulate your profits, etc. Of course, it's not financial advice, it's just things that we do, and we pass on the knowledge and the experience, at least the small experience that we have, that hopefully helps people out there as well. So it'd be really interesting to see how the next 48 hours pans out for stellar lumens. But like I said, if we can just try, please, to close back up here, because if we start down here again, it could be a bit of a bumpy ride for XLM, in my opinion. MACD is not really much to pay attention on today, because it's obvious that would happen. The RSI is of interest, because if you are looking to buy in, even right now at RSI 46, if you're purchasing now, it's probably a very good opportunity, to be honest. I think I could imagine if earlier today it may have been towards that 40 mark. So if you're looking on the RSI charts and you're buying in at 40, you know that when it gets back to that 70 plus mark, 70, 80, 90, that alone is 3 incremental stages to try and do sell points at, and you would have known that you've made good profit on that as well. So it's really interesting from XLM. Weekly is obviously down because it's taking into consideration today, which is a shame, because the last week we have been phenomenal on XLM. So it's a bit of a dent, but like I said, absolute positivity in this project. It's not going anywhere. We might see a continuation of some regression in the chart here, but hopefully we can bounce back up above this line and push up. As for the rest of it, it's pretty hunky-dory with the exception of the monthly and the 6 monthly. But the monthly we knew we were catching up on anyway. But if today didn't happen, we would be in green. So it's nothing to majorly worry about. So that's XLM. And then finally, XRP Ripple, massive powerhouse. So this one here, all nearly touched our line up here that we put in. Let me just move this chart slightly. Oh, let me just take the auto scale off here, sorry. So we nearly touched up in here on 144, couldn't quite get there, rejected slightly back. And here we are again. I will make this point. Everyone was complaining, oh, I wish I bought more at this price. We knew $1 was a relatively good structural support line, of course, both psychologically and the way we were in the chart. The fact that this went down below towards that, and actually I managed to trigger a buy order. I'm so happy with this one today. Sorry for those out there that don't like the idea of that, but I did manage to get finally that 10. I think I had it on 105, not 105.34, but it was around 105 mark, because I did anticipate that we would come and test that dollar mark at some point just to go and get rid of it. But I didn't anticipate it, like with all the other charts, didn't anticipate it happening like it did today. But it just proves that you need to have a strategy on various levels, even one that looks ludicrous, that you don't think is going to happen for ages, because it just might happen, as proven today. So kind of happy with that one, and I'm equally even more as happy in the fact that we've retraced so much so that it's gone past below again the 50 moving average, and it's moving towards the 20 as well. So if we can close above this 112 mark, fantastic. If we can close above 119, even better. But we're going to have to be patient. I think it might be a gradual push up with Ripple. It always usually is, especially with the SEC boring lawsuit going on as well. You've got that to take in. You've got people probably still selling off because they're fed up with waiting and this, that, and the other. Some weak hands basically. Hold them, please. Just hold your Ripple XRP, because you will not regret it, I can assure you. So let's see how the recovery goes next year. I guess that the main point of this video is, like, we weren't anticipating to do an update today, to be honest. We only said we'd do things critically at critical times, and this is, in my opinion, a critical time in the sense that unfortunately we couldn't get the video out earlier because obviously we have day jobs and everything at this point until we become proper whales, of course. But in general, we wanted to point out that to really reinstate that whole point of take profits along the way, put your buying strategy in place as well once you're taking those profits, and honestly you will reap the rewards from that, because even if they don't come in, you've obtained profit, money in the bank. So the MACD again negative, totally understandable after today. The RSI is pushing down again. I really wish I saw the RSI earlier today on the daily. I'm not going to go into 4 hourly because it doesn't really have the same effect of what I'm trying to pinpoint here, but it's in the midpoint, so there is potential to still try and have that momentum of waviness or potential correction still, especially as other markets open in the next few hours. But let's see what happens. But I'd be so bullish point of view if we can close this over the 112, even over the 120 would just be absolutely phenomenal and show the true class of Ripple and its believers. So I'm really looking forward to seeing how that tells out. And that's one of the other things about, I just really look forward to the downs and ups. I think it's so fascinating. Psychological battles and emotional battles, support battles, resistance battles. It's where the game's at, I love it. It's so much fun. But hopefully not too many people got disheartened today. Look at it as a positive, and also look at the learnings that you can get from them as well. So guys, that kind of wraps up XRP and all of the crypto assets we talked about. Let us know in the comments below if you're holding either of these three. What are your thoughts about today's activity? And like I said, don't get disheartened, don't get too emotional about it. We are coming back, do not worry. These things happen, there'll be more of these sort of thing happening, manipulation, potential manipulation, other big factors, especially around Bitcoin, that affect the chart. So keep an eye on it all, do your own research, and we will all collectively work together and get this up and running once again. So we'll leave it there. Thanks so much for watching, and we will see you in the next one. Bye bye.